Macaulay Culkin is an American actor who gained worldwide fame as a child. In the role of Kevin McCallister, he became a living symbol of Christmas and New Year, but he failed to stay relevant. We will tell you all about Culkin's ups and downs in this video. Macaulay Culkin, how the grown-up Kevin from Home Alone lives and how much he earns. Macaulay Carson Culkin was born on August 26, 1980 in New York. He was the third of 7 children in the family of Kit Culkin and Patricia Brentrup. The parents were never officially married and lived poorly. All 9 people were huddled in a small one-bedroom apartment. Macaulay doesn't even remember if there were any doors except the bathroom, but the lock there didn't even work. But he remembers the endless babies and the rapidly shrinking living space. The father was in charge of the house, and his attitude was cruel. He harassed the children, humiliated them, and used physical violence. Having not achieved any success as a theater actor, Kit saw in them an opportunity to realize his dream. This plan was hatched when little Macaulay started showing some acting abilities. Per friends' advice, the parents sent the boy to a children's theater studio where he studied choreography and acting. At 4, Macaulay made his debut at the New York Philharmonic. The stage seemed so huge to him that if he didn't shout out his lines as loudly as possible, the audience wouldn't even notice him. The loud-voiced kid was very much liked by the audience, and they even gave him soft toys. After one of the performances, the advertisers became interested in the boy, considering his face suitable for commercials. In addition, in 1985, Culkin made his TV debut, playing in the Halloween movie The Midnight Hour. Since 1988, the boy regularly replenished his filmography, appearing in the TV series The Equalizer and the dramas Rocket Gibraltar and See You in the Morning. Little Macaulay starred in Oliver Stone's film Born on the 4th of July, but his scenes didn't make the final cut. Macaulay was brought up in Catholic traditions and attended St. Joseph's School, but later moved to the Professional Children's School. It's a special school for creative children who don't have time to attend classes in person. The family comedy Uncle Buck brought success to the little actor, and Macaulay was entitled to $40,000. The movie stayed in first place at the American box office for 4 weeks. It also attracted the attention of screenwriter and producer John Hughes, who was looking for a leading actor for his next project, Home Alone. He immediately realized that Culkin was the perfect Kevin, but director Chris Columbus decided to hold the auditions anyway. He saw hundreds of child actors before admitting Hughes was right and went with Macaulay. According to the child labor laws, the young actor could only work 5 hours a day, but he still got really tired. Between takes, he slept on the hard floor and eventually caught a cold. The producers had to give him a break, but one scene with sick Macaulay still made the cut, namely the episode where Kevin runs away from a policeman after stealing a toothbrush. At the same time, the young actor became very close with his on-screen mother, Catherine O'Hara. When many years later they met again at one of the events, Culkin greeted Catherine with Mommy, and she called him Baby in response. No one knew what a huge success Home Alone would be, so the budget was limited, and the salary of the lead actor was only $100,000. But when the film was released in November 1990, the excitement was unprecedented. In just 6 months, the film managed to collect about $500,000 at the global box office, and Culkin received the Young Actor Award and was also nominated for a Golden Globe.
I washed my hair with the Don't Formula shampoo and used cream rinse for that Just Wash Shine. I can't seem to find my toothbrush, so I'll pick one up when I go out today. Other than that, I'm in good shape.
The actor has conflicting feelings about the film that brought him world fame. Macaulay admitted that he doesn't like to watch the film since behind-the-scenes memories don't allow him to enjoy what is happening on the screen. At the same time, he never hesitated to use Home Alone to impress the girls, and the main actor still wonders why such a smart and quick-witted kid like Kevin didn't call the police when the robbers tried to break into the house. In the early 90s, offers were made to the talented child one after another. Meanwhile, Kit Culkin was in charge of his son's financial affairs, becoming his manager and agent. Macaulay starred in the films Only the Lonely and My Girl for which he was paid $1 million. Together with his on-set partner, Anna Chlumsky, he received an age-inappropriate MTV award for Best Kiss for the latter.
She's gonna be alive if she finds out I'm out here. Let's go to the church. They're playing bingo tonight. I told you I'd get in trouble. Pacifist. I'm not. Bedwetter. I stopped that.
Culkin continued to play on stage. At the same time, the ticket prices to his performances increased sharply, and they were sold out for months ahead. In addition, along with the voice acting in the animated series Wish Kid, 11-year-old Macaulay starred in the entertainment show Saturday Night Live. At the same time, his father forbade him to use cue cards, and the boy memorized all the lines by heart. And in the case of an unsuccessful performance, Culkin Sr. threatened to beat up his son. In 1991, the young actor was noticed by the king of pop, Michael Jackson, who invited him to his music video, Black or White. On the set, Macaulay became friends with the musician because he perfectly understood what it was like to be a child swept by world fame. A 22-year age difference didn't matter because Michael was a child at heart. With an amazing and yet weird sense of spontaneity, he and Culkin staged pranks and rode on rides at his Neverland estate. After growing up, Macaulay became the godfather of Michael's children. He always defended him against accusations, even under oath. But that was all many years later, and in 1992, it was decided to film the sequel to Home Alone. Negotiations on the main star's working conditions were difficult because Kit Culkin made a lot of demands. As a result, they agreed on a $4.5 million payout for Macaulay and a role for his younger brother Kieran. He had already appeared as the main character's cousin in the first part.
Your drawers, sir.
Jeez, don't flash these babies around here. There could be girls on this floor.
I was very careful, sir.
You can't be too careful when it involves underwear.
I understand.
Another condition from Kit was that Macaulay and his sister Quinn get roles in the next project of the studio, Good Son. In this psychological thriller, the payout for the young actor was $5 million. This was followed by the family fantasies The Nutcracker and The Pagemaster, an episode of the TV show Frasier, and the comedy Getting Even with Dad, with a record fee of $8 million. For this role, Culkin received a nomination for the Golden Raspberry Anti-Award for the worst male role.
After I raided your hiding place, I spread your coins out here on the table and videotaped them with my camera. I also got some good shots of you guys coming into the building, so I'm sure the cops will have no trouble identifying you.
What the hell are you trying to pull? You're a little weasel.
In reality, Macaulay couldn't get even with his father. He left the theater because there was no time for it. And if at first the boy liked the cinema, recognition, and fame, but then burnout came. He asked Culkin Sr. to let him rest and at least live a normal life for a while. But Kit did not want to let go of the gold mine. Macaulay starred in a lot of advertising, for example, Sprite and LG. During filming, the actor was already 13 years old and looked ridiculous in the image of a spoiled child. Moreover, Culkin was too tall and Macaulay's childhood career because Kit Culkin literally bullied the producers. Each contract included clauses on the mandatory participation of his other children, which not everyone liked. The business behavior was called the Culkin family attack. In addition, Kit was interested in the amount of royalties much more than the quality of the scripts. Such an unprofessional approach quickly brought a negative result. Macaulay was no longer offered roles. A year later, the boys' parents separated. Patricia accused Kit of ruining their son's career and practically depriving him of a chance to restore it. The trial began, as a result of which custody of the children remained with the mother. No less important an issue was the fate of Macaulay's money. The young actor crossed out the names of both parents from his trust fund and found a proxy until he came of age. Culkin Sr. had kept his son in the dark about his fortune, so Macaulay was surprised when he found out it was $17 million. By the way, none of the children met with their father anymore. During the trial, Culkin didn't star in movies and took up education. Only in 1998, he appeared in the music video Sunday by the rock band Sonic Youth. Later, the actor started to play on the theater stage again. At that time, Macaulay felt lonely and found support only in a romantic relationship with a childhood friend, Rachel Miner. At 17, they decided to get married, for which they had to ask for written permission from their parents. But the early marriage didn't last long. In 2000, the young couple separated, and 2 years later, they officially divorced. At the same time, Culkin began dating actress Mila Kunis. Their relationship was warm and harmonious because the actors, whose careers in cinema had begun very early, had a lot in common. In 2003, Macaulay returned to the cinema, having received the main role in the youth tragic comedy Party Monster. Culkin played Michael Alec, a real person who turned from a simple waiter into a legend of the New York club scene.
Oh, typical James. Tired old drug addict. Can't even stay awake for your own movie. Not that it's your movie. You think it's yours, but it's really mine. All mine.
While preparing for the shooting, the actor would visit Michael in prison, where he was serving his sentence. Interestingly, Marilyn Manson, who many consider the living embodiment of all possible vices, starred in the film together with Macaulay. It was Macaulay who bought the first pack of cigarettes in his life for the Antichrist, as they call him, which Culkin considers quite ironic. After that came the roles in an episode of the TV series Will and Grace, the comedy drama Saved, the adventure drama Jerusalemsky Syndrome, and the comedy drama Sex and Breakfast, as well as the voice acting role in the animated series Robot Chicken. During the same period, Culkin was arrested several times for drug possession. The first time he was briefly imprisoned, but then released on bail of $4,000. And for the following offenses, he was sentenced to 3 years of probation and a fine of $540. Macaulay's life story was the basis of his semi-autobiographical work, Junior. The book was published in 2006, and like many other celebrity projects, was met with equal praise and skepticism. In 2008, a tragedy happened in the Culkin family. His older sister Dakota was fatally hit by a car. In their last conversation, she praised her brother for his work in The Party Monster and wished for him to stay relevant and not lose enthusiasm. But the loss of a loved one severely crippled Macaulay and pushed him into bad habits. The work helped a little, and in 2009, he was invited to the fantastic multi-part drama Kings. But then problems arose in his relationship with Mila Kunis. Due to the inappropriate behavior of Macaulay's fans, the lovers could not calmly walk down the street, and Kunis felt uncomfortable. The young man wanted to propose to his beloved, but she didn't believe in marriage at that time, and apparently initiated the breakup in 2011. Mila later admitted that in her 20s, she was a complete fool and the breakup was very painful. Nevertheless, they remained close to each other. The breakup was the last straw for Culkin. He fell into a severe depression and in December 2012 even tried to take his own life. Fortunately, the attempt was unsuccessful. The media wrote that the forgotten movie star had hit rock bottom, spending $6,000 each month on drugs, and how he had no more than 6 months to live. Representatives of the actor immediately called such articles false and discrediting the honor of Macaulay. And later, he denied rumors of drug addiction, and he could only laugh at the articles about his death. At that time, Macaulay appeared only in the sketch project The Wrong Ferrari, filmed by musician, producer, and artist Adam Green on a smartphone. In 2013, Culkin founded a parody cover band, Pizza Underground. The musicians sang the song of the popular rock band, The Velvet Underground, changing the lyrics about pizza, lactose intolerance, and alcoholics. In America, the project was a success, but the first tour in the UK ended with booing. When Culkin's band took to the stage in Nottingham, the audience, who apparently were fans of the Velvet Underground, decided that their favorites were being ridiculed. Soon, they started throwing trash onto the stage and whistling and humming. So after 15 minutes, the artists were forced to leave the stage. By the way, Macaulay dated for several years a member of his band, Jordan Lane Price. There were rumors about an imminent wedding, but they separated in 2017. A year earlier, the band broke up, but Macaulay Culkin stayed in the music field and moonlighted as a DJ in nightclubs. He also returned to the cinema by filming in the comedy The Jim Gaffigan Show, the low-budget fantasy Adam Green's Aladdin, and a series of short films called Drivers. In the pilot episode, the actor returned to the image of Kevin from Home Alone for the first time in 23 years. He also transformed into the iconic rock musician Kurt Cobain in Josh Tillman's music video and sometimes appeared on television. In 2019, viewers saw Macaulay in the movie Changeland and an episode of the TV series Dollface. In both projects, his partner was actress Brenda Song, and they soon started dating. The girl became a Disney star quite early, albeit not on the same scale as Culkin, so they had a lot in common. Their relationship developed so smoothly that Macaulay was always looking for a catch, but there was none. So the young people stopped hiding their feelings and soon moved in together. Song is happy to tell in interviews how incredibly kind, loyal, sweet, and smart her partner is, and he, in turn, pleases his beloved with touching gifts. For example, one Christmas, Culkin gave her a kitten, which the girl named Santa Claus. After a few years of relationship, Macaulay and Brenda started thinking about a child, and in 2021, their dream came true. On April 5th, the couple welcomed a son, Dakota Song Culkin, after the actor's late sister. The celebrities don't have a nanny, but Brenda's mother helps. She would bring the child to sets so that the mother could feed him and spend time with him during the day. At the beginning of 2022, it became known that the lovers were going to get married, and now the wedding planning is in full force. Song even launched the wedding collection with Amazon Handmade, inspired by these preparations. For a long time, Macaulay's main activity was a parody lifestyle website, Bunny Ears, and a podcast of the same name, which is why he started calling himself a house husband. But recently, Culkin has returned to his profession. In 2021, Macaulay appeared in the 10th season of the horror drama television series American Horror Story. The actor gave his consent to the role by phone after the screenwriter of the project, Ryan Murphy, promised him a love scene with Kathy Bates. "This seems to be the role I was born to play," Macaulay replied.
Well, then it's 50 for the fuck, 'cause there you going.
I'll give you 200 for taste.
No. You almost killed me last time. You took it too far, Bill.
In 2022, Macaulay starred in 2 episodes of the Righteous Gemstones series and voiced the animated picture Intergalactic. The actor admitted that he rarely goes to auditions and is not very good at them. For example, Culkin had a chance to star in Quentin Tarantino's Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, but he failed the audition. He admitted that he wouldn't have hired himself after such a failure. As for the role in the sitcom The Big Bang Theory, Macaulay refused it several times, even though he could have earned tens or even hundreds of millions of dollars. Now his fortune is estimated at $18 million, earned in his youth and from advertising contracts. He was an ambassador of Swedish sock manufacturer Happy Socks Christmas collection. Culkin appeared in a commercial for Google Assistant in his iconic image. In the video, adult Kevin is home alone again around Christmas, but this time, his company is the digital assistant. Also, the actor promoted Golden Road beer on his Instagram account. He has also modeled briefly for Gucci, produced the comedy video game Toe Jam and Earl, Back in the Groove, and gets income from properties that are, according to him, scattered around the world. Back in the early 2000s, he bought a $1.7 million Manhattan loft, which he later turned into a 90s-inspired art studio. In the 2010s, Culkin lived in his Paris apartment, but after meeting Brenda Song, he moved in with her in a 1-story, 5-bedroom, 5-bathroom house in Los Angeles' Studio City. Shortly after engagement, Culkin and Song paid $8 million for a 1,400 square foot 2-story house in the Toluca Lake area of Los Angeles. Macaulay is rarely seen driving a car. It is only known that he had a black Lexus SC430 in his garage. Among Macaulay's hobbies are wrestling and video games. He's also still interested in acting, or rather the filming process, but he gets annoyed by everything that comes along with it. The Macaulay brothers, Kieran and Rory, continue the creative dynasty. Do you think Macaulay Culkin will be able to repeat his childhood success, and does he need it? If you liked the video, leave a like and also subscribe to the channel so that you don't miss anything interesting.